Another day, another dollar, as they say. First things first, let's have a cup of tea. Let's get the laptop sorted out, and of course a cup of good old Yorkshire tea. Can't drink tea without sugar. Put the kettle on. Incidentally, saying another day, another dollar, it does actually have water connections, and it dates back to the 1800s when sailors were paid $1 a day. So on long voyages, because each day was more or less the same, all they'd got to show for it was $1 a day. So that's where I'm led to believe the saying comes from. Another dollar, another day. Don't know if it's true or not. Let me know in the comments below. Couldn't resist that. It's still warm in here, like I mentioned on one of the earlier videos. This insulation, spray foam insulation, is really working. Oh yeah. In fact, let's have a couple of biscuits too, to give me the energy to do a bit of work, and I'll show you what I'm up to and where I've got. Well, all these boards have had 3 coats now of varnish. So what I need to do now, I'm just going to go around where if you imagine this board was upside down, or it was the other way around, so there's obviously drips there of the varnish, because I was quite liberal when I was putting it on the edges. Just going to go over that with a palm sander just to remove that, and then start my varnishing for today. This will be the underside of the floor, so it doesn't really matter, but I just want to make sure it's nice and flush. Hopefully in a couple of vlogs time we should actually get to the proper fit out, the nice work, which I know I'm going to enjoy doing. I'm sure you don't want to see me sanding the edge of boarding down, so I'll do that, and I'll be back later. I'm knackered. I've only been up and down with a palm sander. Anyway, I've taken my jumper off. It's getting a bit warm in here. The actual discs that I'm using are P60s, so they're quite a rough disc, and like I mentioned earlier, it's just to take off the residue of the varnish where it's actually dripped. This will be that side will be under the floor anyway, and eventually the whole of the subfloor is going to be covered. That took longer than it looked just there, I assure you. Time for another cuppa. think I deserve one after that. And then I'll get the brush out and get them varnished. The varnish I'm using, I bought it from Tool Station. It's actually made by a company called Beery. I mean, they've been going 140 odd years, 1878, 79 I think they started. They specialise in various specialist paints, such as obviously yacht varnish, concrete floor paints, but they also specialise in different types of solvents and cleaners. They do a really good one to unblock your sink, which I remember was being used in a hotel I was doing some work in, oh god, 30 odd years ago. So they're a reputable firm, but one you've perhaps not heard of. Anyway, Tool Station sell their yacht varnish, and at a reasonable price too. You can hear that rain coming down. Don't know if you can. It's pelting it down. These are just bog standard foam rollers that I'm using. I say they're cheap and cheerful. They're not expensive, but the quality is pretty good. I use them as a one-shot roller, so I don't clean them, use them, and then throw them away. I got these particular ones from Screwfix, but I think most sort of building suppliers sell them. Just a 4-inch roller, 4-inch tray, and I've got a sort of plastic tray protector in here. I usually make sure I've used the varnish, or the day's worth if you like. Just let it dry up. Well, put the rest of it back into the tin, let it dry up, come the next day nice and solid and ready to use again. You could put plastic bag in here, or some sort of, maybe a bit of cling film, probably do similar job, but depending on the quality of the cling film, it may well rip. So I prefer to use these, certainly when I'm varnishing, I prefer to use these sort of plastic inserts. And I'm just using just a standard brush from Wilko's. Nothing special. It's not the cheapest. It's not the ones where the bristles keep falling out. But say it's just a bog standard 2-inch. Is it 2-inch? 38mm. Oh, I can't get my head around all this metric conversion stuff. Anyway, 38mm, whatever that is, inch and a bit. Anyway, I'm only using it to do the edges, because as soon as the weather's breaks, I think we're going to get a couple of days of good weather next week. So I really do need to get an undercoat on the roof and around the stern area, if only to give the boat a little bit of protection from what it's got on now. At the moment there's a 2-part epoxy primer on there, but I do need to get an undercoat on, particularly on the roof. Then once I've done that, I'll get my mushroom vents installed, at least temporarily, on the roof. The holes have already been cut out with a plasma cutter by my builder, so at the moment there's just spray foam stopping the rain and the elements getting into the boat. So that should be quite an easy job to get access. Just go around the edge with a bread knife after I've made my sandwiches, install the mushroom vents, plonk them on the top, 4 holes, drill, 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 4 taps, tap, 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 and some stainless steel countersunk screws in there, or pins as they apparently call them in the trade. But anyway, I'll show you. Hello? Near a plane again. Is that one of ours? Yeah, it looks like it. Anyway, well, I'll show you that in great detail, or in better detail, when we get to it. Let me finish this cup of tea, and then better start a bit of work. It's a beautiful day again. What I'm doing at the moment is ripping down these 8x4 sheets into 8x2 sheets, and then there'll be 3 along the width of the boat, so 2 foot, 2 foot, 2 foot, and ditto all the way down. Then this will make it much easier for me to lift them up if I want to inspect the bilge or the ballast to make sure it's dry in the event of a leak. So what I'm doing now, I marked with pencil on the board halfway, and I'm just putting some masking tape down on the top of that, and then on the top of the masking tape I'm going to draw my my cutting line. That way, hopefully, I won't get any, or I'll reduce the amount of splits on the wood, on the surface, when I'm actually cutting it. It is a downward cut anyway, but this is just sort of belt and braces really, and it's easier to see the line on the wood. Obviously, if I had a bit of help, I'd probably lift these onto some trestles. But it's just as easy to do it on the floor, to be honest. Okay, I've got my masking tape, and then on here I'm going to draw a line 2 feet from the edge, which is the centre of this board, or 600mm, and I'm going to cut down that line. So 2 foot, 600mm. I have got a saw rail just over 9 feet, which will more than adequately serve my wanting line 8 feet long on here. I'll show you what I mean in a minute, but sod's law, I've got it here. I've got the 8 foot one, but not the just under 10 foot, I think, 9 point something. I'll show you what I mean. Here somewhere. Yeah, so I've actually got one that would work on it. It's just under 9 foot. So the idea is I put that on my board, clamp it, and then I'd run my saw along the edge as a guide. If I wanted to, I could actually pin a piece of wood down here and use it as a guide. I'm pretty confident I can saw this straight. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to join those lines up so I've got a nice straight cut. Using a spirit level for that, not to measure anything on the boat, just because it's a robust piece of metal. So we'll line that up. When you're ever marking a line like this, whatever you're using as a straight edge, just use it, just overlap it to the previous line that you've drawn, and then it will join up nicely. Make sure you're vertically above it, overlooking it, so the line is nice and straight. Put 2 more. Of course, the rough edges of this board will be put towards the side of the boat. There'll be one rough edge on each board which meets in the middle. If it's really rough, I'll just go over it with a planer. So let me just show you what I've done. So we've got now, I've got a line along the masking tape. It's just easier to see than putting it on the board. Hope you can see it in this bright sunlight. The board, by the way, is just a couple of inches off the floor, and it's resting on 4 pieces of 2x1 timber. So when I cut it, the board's not going to sort of collapse in the middle. Yeah, so let's get the saw, start cutting it. It's 18mm ply, so I need to make sure that my blade, make sure the saw is unplugged, or if it's a cordless saw, your battery is taken out when you're working anywhere near the blade. I need to make sure this blade is just over 18mm. So I'll put it at just over between 20 and 25. That way you're getting the maximum amount of the blade cutting the wood at any one time. So at the moment that is 30 millimeters. So I'm just going to adjust it. Hope you can see this. I'm going to adjust it to that, measure it again. It's a little bit difficult trying to do this with one hand. So that's 25 mil. That blade is 25 mil. It's locked in, and now connect the power source, or like I said earlier, if it was main saw, plug it back in and switch it on. Don't just leave it plugged in, switched off, physically unplug the damn thing. Brilliant. Right, let's reposition the camera for you. Right. Oh. I'll just put some goggles on. Just in case. Then you've got two eyes. Not to lose them, or even one of them. When you're restarting a saw, a circular saw, once you've already started cutting it, move it back a little bit. Make sure the guide is free, and let it start up again before you attempt to move it. And make sure you've got the pressure pushing downwards. There we go. And give it a quick sweep. We can find the here it is, the brush. So what I want to do, so I know that these boards are going to marry up, I'm going to put a little bit of a sticker on here, or a little bit more masking tape as an indicator, so I know which side on which board fits with this. So I'm just taking a bit of my tape again, do it on this side. In fact, tell you what, do it on the side where you are, so you can see. I've got my piece of tape on one side and on the other side. And I'll call this board one left and one right. And I'll know that this is these two boards go together. I'll also put a little arrow on it as well, so I can identify each side of the board. Now I've got another 6 of these to do. Well, eventually I'll have 8 to do, and then that's my 80mm ply flooring board cut. Well, 3 down, 3 to go. I'll show you an alternative way, maybe a quicker way of dividing the board into 2 rather than put the line down before you put the tape down. I'll show you another way to do it, similar but slightly quicker once you feel confident. So an alternative way, if you don't want to actually put some measured lines down before you put the tape down, just take your tape measure, make sure it's got a lock on, and open it up just to beyond the measurement that you want. So if I want 2 feet, I'll set it about 27. Oh, earlier I mentioned 2 feet was equal to 600mm. It's not actually, looking at the tape. It's 610mm. There you go. Anyway, so just pull your tape down. That's my 2 foot mark. Take your tape. Don't have to be accurate. That's all we're doing. We're putting a bed of tape down so we can put a line on it. So put it roughly in the middle, 2 feet. Move your tape along. Make sure it's locked in on the edge. Again, tape roughly in the middle. Doesn't have to be accurate. And then just move along like that. Again, moving along until we've completed the whole board. Don't worry about smoothing it all down yet. We can do that in a moment. Moving down roughly so the tape's in the middle of that 2 foot or 2 feet increment on the tape, or whatever measurement you're going to use. Just go all the way down the board. You can use this same method, or I always do, if I'm cutting out for a sink unit, an inset sink unit in a worktop or a cooker hob. And then once I've got my tape down in roughly the right place, I put my hob or my sink unit upside down, position it where I want it, draw around it, take it off. When you draw around it, if you're doing a sink unit, use a red pen, because you know you're not going to cut around that red line, or you don't want to, because the actual line you really want is usually 15mm inside that, or whatever the instructions are. But if you're drawing around something like a hob or a unit, I always use a red pen. Red means danger, in other words, don't cut. Anyway, back to the boat. All we do, bring the tape down like that, and I'll just flatten it out by walking on it, and then I can draw my measurement going across 2 feet, line straight down, and then I can cut it. As you can see, my masking tape, it's not perfectly level, it's a bit skew width. What's important is that the line is the exact distance you want it to be from the edge, or in this case each edge. Don't worry if the tapes a little bit off. Doesn't matter unless you've got OCD. Well, 2 more to go with this batch of 6. This timber, by the way, is 3x2 and not 2x1, as I think I mentioned earlier, although I did caption my mistake. So once I've got these 2 done, I'll give these remaining 2 a coat of varnish before I go tonight, and then I'll start repeating that process during the next few days. I have actually got some timber coming the day after tomorrow. The rest of my battening, all the hidden timber. So I'll be able to press on with that at the weekend, and then you should actually see a bit of progress. It's always the same when you're doing jobs like this, or even building jobs or extension jobs on a house. Until you get the structure set up and there's a first fix on that structure, it appears that you've been doing nothing and achieved little to the naked eye, although you really have. Right, let's plod on, as they say. It's been that warm today. I've taken the portholes out, so I better put them back. Hello, is that another train? Yeah, you can just see it in the background. Okay. I've even had the side hatch open today. I should have had the bow hatch open really, but there's that much stuff piled up against it that I couldn't be bothered to move it. Once I get these floor panels down, or at least partially down, I'll be able to put some masking tape on the floor where my bulkheads are going, and it should give you a better idea of where things will be in the boat. Also, in a future video, I will go into detail with you and talk through with you my plans and the reason I've had what I'm having where I'm having it, if that makes sense. I might even do a live question and answer session on that. You never know. We'll see what happens. I should be getting a good internet router sorted out down here within the next week, so watch your space. That's all for now then. I shall see you in the next vlog. It's still nice outside, so I'm going to shoot off home and make the best of the evening's good weather. See you next time. Thank you for watching.